When you went through your career, did you find cases that you really enjoyed? What did you gravitate to?
I ended up gravitating through to financial investigations. When I say financial investigations, obviously there's a drug nexus in all our cases.
Yeah.
But I would look at, okay, how are they moving money?
But why was that? Was that because of your background?
It was, okay, good question. It was because of my background. I could see the value, because if I was a bad guy, I wouldn't care so much about the product, because I can always get product.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that money that is that's where, I can actually experience the fruits of my labor. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I found that to be intriguing, and I liked the idea of going after the money side, because I just thought, just from my own thoughts, was that if you're going to really cripple somebody and try to dismantle somebody, take away their power, which is the money.
Yeah.
And then we had Karen Tandy come into to the DEA when I was in Mexico, and she basically started promoting the financial side. So it just took off from there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of got labeled the money guy, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, and I enjoyed it too. It was just, I found it like kind of cool to put together the puzzles, because when you really think about it, you got a key of coke, it's illegal, or fentanyl, it's all illegal. You go to jail, or you're going to get arrested, depending on your defense attorney and all that. But you're going to spend time in custody. You got money. Money's legal. Money is inherently legal. So what I found was the cool thing, and the challenge was to dirty up the money, as they say. What makes this money dirty? Because other than that, you're not going to have any. So I found it like a puzzle.
Mm.
And that's what I like to do.
So from the RO, Carlsbad, any other groups within?
Yeah. Carlsbad, I did time in Carlsbad. And then I wanted to get to the field division, and I actually put in a request to go to the asset removal group, which was not the group you want to go to when you're doing when you're trying to get your 13.
Right. So why did you want to go there?
Because I felt I did some talking. First of all, the supervisor of it was the undercover girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
And she was cool. I really liked her, and I felt I could learn from her. The other thing was, I felt that, when they say it's like a contra in the market, when nobody wants to buy it, that's the time to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I felt like nobody sees the value here. So I could make some value out of this and kind of stand out.
Yeah.
So there was some personal ego involved in it.
Yeah.
And we ended up doing we created a wiretap out of that group, and we actually did some cases.
Wow, out of a asset removal group.
Yeah, and I got to understand the idea of seizing assets too. So it was an education to me too.
Yeah.
And then from that group, I did my time there. I got my 13. And as they, I'm not sure if the audience will understand what that means, but you became a senior special agent.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting Mexico. Now, I wanted to go overseas.
Okay.
So that was another thing why I wanted to go with DEA, because DEA, I felt, from what I read, had the largest international presence in law enforcement. And I felt that was a great opportunity, because if you're going to, in my opinion, if you're going to be a federal agent and you have the ability to go overseas, sometimes you don't because of family reasons or what have you, go overseas, because you see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
So I actually took a trip on my own to Colombia and Mexico, because I wasn't sure which countries to go to. So I went on a vacation in Bogota and Mexico City. Didn't speak any Spanish at the time. I was still learning on my own. And I liked both the countries. I said, I don't even know which ones to go to. Then I talked to one of my old RO, old B&DD guy. And I told him what I wanted to do, and he knew I had this interest to go overseas. He says, don't go to Colombia, go to Mexico. I go, I'm just curious, why? Colombia's passé. Mexico was where all the action's gonna be. So I went.
Was there any thought about, I mean, you're looking at Mexico, you're looking at Colombia. Did you ever think about Europe? I mean, why those countries?
Yeah, because my parents, my mother said you should go to Italy because that's where my grandparents. I said, no, what's going on there? I mean, first of all, I think, well, how can I say this? I don't think I had the right rabbi to go to Europe.
Okay, fair enough. Yep.
But I really thought that the action would be. I mean, as a DEA agent, you want to go where the action is.
Yeah.
You really do.
Yeah.
So that's why I was looking at Colombia, but I was a little, it's passé, you know. Mexico City, Mexico was the place to go. So I did a TDY in Mexico. I actually went into the office when I was on vacation. I spoke to some guys. One of them was assigned to San Diego once before, so he was appreciative that I came down. I did a TDY there, and when they had an opening, I got assigned.
Did you speak Spanish at the time?
No.
Okay, so do you learn Spanish?
Couldn't even count to 10.
Did they send you to language school?
They sent me to language school. I actually took it on my own to learn some Spanish. I went to a local community college in San Diego. I took basic Spanish, and just to have an understanding of it. And I tried my best to learn the language. And my Spanish was never that good. But I made do, and I always made sure I had somebody who spoke better Spanish than me when we were out. But over the time, I still practice, and I've gotten a lot better. But yeah, it was, and to me, that was life-changing.